shift at St. Vincent's Hospital for almost 5 years. Every nurse knew that once the clock hit 2:30 a.m., the West Wing grew different. It wasn't just the silence. It was the feeling that something was still walking the halls long after visiting hours ended. One night, I was assigned to Ward C. That's the wing where we kept post-op patients under quiet observation. Most of them were sedated, heavily medicated, and barely conscious. So when I heard footsteps dragging, I froze. They weren't the firm, confident steps of a doctor. They were slow, uneven, like someone half asleep or half dead. I leaned out from the nurse's station, flashlight trembling in my hand. Hello? No answer. I followed the sound down the hallway. The security lights flickered, buzzing faintly above me. When I turned the corner, there was no one there, but every curtain in the ward was open. All 12 beds. Someone had walked through and opened them all. We always closed them before night shift. My skin prickled as I reached the last bed. Bed 12. An elderly woman had died there 2 nights earlier. Her sheets had been changed. Her bed was empty, except for the faint outline of a head on the pillow. The indentation was fresh. The heart monitor next to me beeped once, though it wasn't connected to anything. Then again, beep, beep. I backed away slowly, gripping my radio. But before I could call for security, I heard it. A voice, soft and strained, whispering from the empty bed. Please, don't leave me here. I ran, and as I did, every monitor on the floor came alive. All 12. Glowing green. Each one showing a flat line that wasn't there before. The next morning, I filed an incident report. Security reviewed the footage from Ward C. Every camera glitched. Between 2:31 and 2:38 a.m. when the feed resumed. You could see every curtain open and a shadow standing at bed 12, watching the nurse's station. The security feed that kept glitching at 3:11 a.m. I worked as a night security officer at a warehouse on the edge of town. Just me, a wall of monitors, and the hum of the vending machine for company. Nothing ever happened there until I started noticing something strange. About the time 3:11 a.m. every night, like clockwork, one of the camera feeds would cut out. Always the same one. Camera 7, facing the loading bay. I'd reset it, check the cables, even swapped cameras entirely. Still, 3:11 would come, and it would die. One night, I decided to watch it live. I leaned close, eyes fixed on the grainy black and white feed. The red timer in the corner ticked from 3:10:58 to 3:11:00, and the screen went static. I stared, waiting for it to return. 10 seconds passed, then 15. When the picture came back, I felt my stomach drop. The loading bay door was open, and there was a man standing in front of it. Only there wasn't supposed to be anyone there. His face was pale, blurred by motion. He didn't move, just stood there, staring at the camera. I reached for my radio, heart pounding. Control, this is base. Who's on bay 7? No response. When I looked back, he was gone. The door was still open. I switched to another camera angle, scanning the corridors. And that's when I saw him again. Inside the building, he was standing behind my chair on the monitor feed. But I was alone in the control room. My hands trembled as I turned around. No one, just the empty chair behind me. The screen flickered again. The man was gone. The next day, I checked the system logs. Between 3:11:00 and 3:11:28, every camera recorded for exactly 28 seconds, then deleted the footage automatically. I swore it wasn't possible. They said I must have been dreaming. But last week, I ran into one of the daytime guards. He said he's been reviewing footage lately because someone's been unlocking the loading bay every night at exactly 3:11 a.m. The long haul that never ended. I've been driving trucks for 15 years. You see a lot of weird stuff on the highway at night, but nothing like this. I was hauling up north through a 2-lane stretch between Kansas and Colorado. No towns for miles. Just an endless road and the radio static. Around 1:47 a.m., I passed a rest stop I didn't recognize. Small, old, no lights except one flickering sign. Open 24 hours. I was starving, so I pulled over. Inside, the place looked abandoned, except for a man behind the counter. His skin was pale, eyes sunken deep, like he hadn't slept in weeks. He just smiled and said, "Coffee?" I nodded. When he turned to pour it, I noticed something in the reflection of the window. Behind me, rows of people sitting in the booths, silent, staring straight ahead. When I turned around, they were gone. The man handed me my coffee, hand shaking slightly. "Long night ahead," he said. I left the cup on the counter and walked out fast. But when I reached my truck, I froze. The same people from inside the diner were now standing by the road, facing the highway. All of them pointing in the same direction. I was driving. I floored it. I didn't stop until sunrise. When I finally looked in the mirror, the coffee cup was sitting in my passenger seat. The liquid inside wasn't coffee. It was thick and red. The motel guest in room 9. When I was 19, I worked at a small roadside motel off Route 62. It was quiet, old, and barely saw 5 guests a night. The owner, Mr. Landers, left me alone most evenings. He used to joke that if I ever got scared, I could hide behind the counter. I didn't think I'd ever need to. Until the night room 9 checked in. A man came in around midnight, tall, thin, wearing a trench coat. He didn't say a word, just slid $100 bill across the counter and wrote room 9 on the form himself. I gave him the key, watched him walk down the hallway and disappear. About an hour later, I got a call. No one spoke, just heavy breathing. Then the sound of a door creaking. I looked at the monitor. Room 9's hallway camera was dark. Every other one worked fine. When I went to check it, the hallway smelled strange, like rot and rain. The door to room 9 was cracked open. "Sir," I called. The light inside flickered once. The room was empty, but on the bed there was a wet trench coat. I stepped closer and saw something tucked under the pillow. A motel receipt. Room 9. Date July 14th, 1983. The man who checked in that night died 40 years ago in a car crash, half a mile from here. When I turned to run, I saw my own reflection in the